up to go on at 9 o'clock, and I guess there was a little bit of a miscommunication, mostly on my part, I guess. So I apologize for that. But after today's date, we will be starting at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
We're on a little late.
Yeah, we are late. We are late. But we're a little early for those who didn't know.
For the 10 o'clock.
Right.
Right.
So, but either way, we want to thank you for joining us here on the Rabbit Hole. And how was your week, James?
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah.
It's good having a weekend off. I actually did a little costuming over the weekend.
Awesome.
At the convention center with Timothy Zahn, the book author for some of the Star Wars novels. And
Timothy Zahn what?
Timothy Zahn.
Timothy Zahn?
What's he on?
So
you did cosplay?
Yeah.
Nice.
Right on, man. Yeah, I had a pretty decent weekend. Gosh, my kids lost their football game again, so that was a heartbreak hotel, you know. But on the lighter side of things, in sporting news, my Chiefs are 5-0. My Ducks are undefeated, so I'm pretty happy about all that. But
nice.
I wish the kids I coached could win a game. It's heartbreaking, man, because they've worked so hard. They've put in so many hours and so much time, and you know, kind of makes you feel like you're letting them down. But it's always by like one score, one play that got away, and it's just heartbreaking. This one in particular was bad. So we were in it the whole way. Went into overtime. First overtime game I've ever seen at that age group. So
nice.
Yeah, it was a fun coach. You know, it was a fun coach regardless. So proud of him.
You know, you and I are pretty big Walking Dead fans, and since season 4 is coming up, we're definitely gonna have to gear the show towards the paranormal side, I think, and gear up for Halloween. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. I definitely like. We should have like a Halloween special that we do. So yeah, I'm definitely down for that. You know, and speaking of that, on the subject of because we're on the rabbit hole, we talk about all sorts of weird stuff. Zombies. I mean, where are you on that? Where are you on zombies?
You don't want background music?
Because here's the thing.
Now, are you talking about like
real life? I'm talking about like, you know, the government conspiracy theories where, you know, they're working on creating zombie super soldiers and this and that. And I mean, I think it's a cool fantasy subject, but I just don't see how it could be possible. Like, well, I mean, being dead, being brought back.
Right. Well, my understanding is, and real or false, I'm not sure, but I did see something online that stated that there was a doctor or research team that did have a way to bring back a deceased victim.
An animal, right? Are you talking about the guy who brought back, I believe it was a rabbit head. It had been dead for 5 hours, and he brought it back. It was like cognizant.
Right, but I thought that they could bring it back, I want to say up to a month.
Jeez.
Yeah. That was my understanding.
Rabbit Steen.
But you know, we hear these cases of people on these synthetic marijuana freakouts that go and start eating.
That's a different zombie.
You know.
Yeah, but you know that's not.
It's more of a rabies rage kind of thing.
That's more of a
like
psychosis.
28
I would call
days.
It. Right. I'd say it's more of a psychosis. It's not, you know.
Which is scary. I mean, you know,
some
guy freaks out and wants to start eating you.
Right.
Shoot him in the head.
That's kind of. That's zombie stuff right there.
Get the crossbow.
But I'm talking about zombies in the traditional sense. I'm talking about being raised from the dead, like straight up. They're dead and they come back. Now I don't know. You know, who knows? Maybe there is something out there that is possible. You know, there's some Dr. Jekyll, you know, thing going on. But I don't know. I don't see how it's possible.
If the Nazis could do it, you know,
well,
you know, I'm sure they looked into it. Why wouldn't Hitler want an army of zombies?
Right, but there's just no evidence that it happened. It's kind of like how Stalin also wanted to create a human guerrilla hybrid soldier, and that's in the books, folks. You don't have to take my word for it. Research it. He really was trying to create a guerrilla human hybrid to become a warrior. I mean, that is, what the hell, man? How could you? That's even stupid. How do you control something like that? You know, you can't.
Well, have you seen World War Z?
No, I want to though.
I saw it, And here's one of the lines.
Oh, don't.
Here's one of the lines.
Hey,
from
ladies
the
and gentlemen,
movie.
I got to tell you right now, James is the show killer, dude.
No.
He will give you the end of a movie. Hey, have you seen it? No. Everyone dies at the end.
Let me
Thanks,
give you
James.
the most significant line in the movie. It's this.
What?
If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about.
Really?
Was it?
No.
No.
It was like that. You got to see the movie.
Yeah.
You got to see it.
That's like when my dog's trying to get a flea off its ass.
Kind of.
That's awesome.
No, it was okay. You know, it wasn't. How do I say this in my own Siskel and Ebert way? It was okay. To me, I don't think you can top Walking Dead. I just don't think you can.
You can't. And it's on every single week. It's a movie. You're watching a movie every single week.
Well,
it's that good.
I like Brad Pitt. I don't get me wrong. I like Brad Pitt. Not to go into this actor IMDb subject. Acting.
So because
I'm
Brad
a
Pitt was in
fan.
it, you give it 1 thumbs up.
No, it was a good movie. You know, there was some good stuff, but you know, I'm still watching Brad Pitt. There's times when I can see a Brad Pitt movie and I forget who I'm watching. Kind of like Tom Cruise. Whenever you watch a Tom Cruise movie, you know you're watching Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
You know.
But he's an awesome actor.
Oh,
too, though.
Tom Cruise is a great actor. I have no qualms about his skill as a thespian.
That's fan.
What was Tom Cruise in?
Huh?
What was Tom Cruise in that was a zombie movie?
He wasn't.
No, he wasn't. I'm just
switched gears. Sorry.
I'm just talking about.
I was reading a message one of your people were sending in.
I'm just talking about certain actors that you know, they're big names. So usually when you see them on screen, you don't veer from the actual name of the actor.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know. So anyway, but World War Z was okay. It was a good movie. But I really think the actors in Walking Dead are
they set the standard.
so good.
Ladies and gentlemen, the phone number here is 360-977-5483. That's 360-977-LIVE. Call us and tell us about whatever you want to talk about. I mean, we go from Bigfoot to UFOs,
We're talking
cryptozoology.
zombies right now.
Call us if you've seen World War Z.
Or even paranormal stuff,
Or Young Frankenstein.
Well, what about the possibility? I mean, the possibility, I think, is there. What would create such a, reaction of... I think the recently deceased would have more potential of coming back.
And also having, functionality too, mobility, that
Right.
kind of thing. It would affect all of that.
But now think about this. If we don't see it in the movies, we see cycles, we see deterioration. We see an initial effect of whatever causes the zombie plague, if you will, and then we start seeing some decay. But wouldn't they eventually decay into nothing?
Well, they do emaciate. I mean, like in Walking Dead, they emaciate. They get skinny. So
Right.
the decomposition continues, even though they're moving and blood it seems to be pumping and stuff like that.
But wouldn't you think eventually, if they're going to decay to that point, they'd continue on?
They do.
Right, but eventually
Unless
they'd
they
be...
get
Right.
brains.
Right, or starve to death. That's another thing. I think they addressed that in the movie The Walking Dead. They say, we've had this one locked up for this long, and we're waiting to see how long it takes to starve them out. But they'll live for weeks, if not months, in the movie.
Right.
Which
in turn, I see creates the hunger, the constant hunger
right.
to continue on.
Right.
But I don't know.
When is Walking Dead coming out? Sometime this month, right?
Next Sunday.
Oh, dude.
We're going to have to cancel the show.
We're
not going to make it.
Dude, yeah, man. We're going to be here when that's on.
Set the DVR.
Yeah, my wife and I, that's what we do anyways.
Set the DVR.
Yeah. We sometimes we'll even skip a week or two.
I don't think anybody's going to want to listen to us when that's on.
Probably
Pretty much most of America stops, doesn't it?
Pretty much. It's like a national holiday every Sunday when it's on.
Yeah.
Hey, that number again is 360-977-5483. 360-977-LIVE. And
Give us a call.
Let's talk about some stuff.
Pretty
much whatever you want to talk about, as long as it pertains to paranormal. You are on KouvRadio.com in the rabbit hole.
So, aside from zombies, TV's been good with a a lot of the Unexplained Files, shows like that.
There's a lot of new shows out that are really good.
Now, I watched this show, and I know you would have dug it. It talks about this young kid. He was a hunter. He was out in the woods with a buddy, and he saw this creature. And they were driving. He got out. First reaction was to get the rifle ready. And
were they hunting or something?
They were hunting.
Okay.
And he saw this big creature, didn't know what it was. You know, first instinct as a hunter was, I'm going to shoot it. Hunt to kill, kill to hunt kind of thing.
Great wild hunter.
Great wild hunter. So he gets out of his truck and he sees this thing and scares the hell out of him. First thing he does, he shoots at it. Knocks it down. Goes in the woods. Sees a smaller one. I guess there was 2 or 3 of them. Sees a smaller one. Shoots it right in the neck. He goes up to it.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
He goes up to it. The thing chokes to death on its own blood.
Right. He said it died horribly. He was like, it was.
He said he messed up.
Yeah, he felt like he made a huge mistake. But here's the thing: he doesn't have any evidence.
Well, he did pull a sample back that supposedly got tested. I don't know what the results are.
But they went back to the same location and it was gone. Everything was gone.
Well, now that brings up another question: are they intelligent enough to reclaim and bury their own dead?
I think so. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking pretty much about Bigfoot here. We're talking about
We want crypto. We want crypto.
Yeah, we did. We went cryptoid on you. So this is what I think.
You lost me.
I totally, truly believe that they do bury their dead. I think that's why we're not finding remains. I think that they are able to dispose of their own, and that's what makes them different. I've spent a lot. I've explained this a whole bunch of times, even on other shows, but I've spent a lot of time in the woods. And I've only come across a couple of carcasses, really significant carcasses. I've found some deer. I found some elk skulls. I found skulls of like coyotes, but I've never seen a dead black bear. I've never seen a dead wolf. I've never found a dead cougar. Hell, I've never even seen a dead squirrel.
Well, now, like we've been talking, we saw the memo that Les Stroud officially confirmed that he's going to do a show on Bigfoot.
Yes.
That'll be cool.
And you know what? If anybody's going to do it, it's him, and I'll tell you why. The reason why I think he'll find somebody or find something is because he goes out by himself. When these other crews are going out, you like if you watch Finding Bigfoot, they're going out there with a team. There's audio techs, there's sound guys, there's cameramen. I mean, it's a group, dude. It's like a straight up huge group. It's probably 10 people out there. Even if they split up, man, you know what? You're not going to find them like that. And not that they haven't got any good evidence, because they certainly have, especially on the thermal cam.
They'll probably be a little more intelligent to stay a little more hidden.
You are not going to see them unless they allow it. You're just not. We've talked about this before, too. Like in Asia, you can go walk through bamboo forests, and next thing you turn around, there's an Asian elephant right there. You know, those are a large creature, and they're super quiet, and if they don't want to be found, they're not going to be found. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to you have to track them, you know. So these things they're thinking. I think they're highly intelligent, you know. Mm-hmm. I don't think that they can make a pizza, you know, but I think that they've been doing this a very long time. They know what they're doing, and they know that humans are no bueno.
So, I mean, it was an interesting story for sure.
It is.
And they're, you know.
But the Bigfoot community out there, they're kind of
they're not buying it?
No, because of the lack of evidence, because he doesn't have, proof undeniable in any way, shape, or form. And it's a pretty fantastical story, you know what I mean? It seems contrived to me.
But you said he came back with some evidence of some sort?
Supposedly he went back to the site.
They found hairs or something like that.
And they found like a patch of skin with hair, and they grabbed that.
But it had been out in the elements for so long that
right.
It's probably a contaminated sample. You know, I don't know if they'd be able to draw anything good off of it or significant for DNA analysis, which would be awesome. I mean, that's what we're looking for. And on that note, I think that some of the evidence that these other researchers out there found is, to me, proof undeniable. When you have footprints in the middle of nowhere with dermal ridges in them, that's like ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what dermal ridges are, it's like look at your fingerprint. Those are dermal ridges, those little bumps, and and with human beings, our dermal ridges on our feet go from side to side. They go horizontally. On primates, like great apes, they run vertically. And that is very significant because some of these dermal ridges, almost all of them that have dermal ridges visible, are running up and down, like a primate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is so hard to fake. You know what I mean? To what end? You know, I could see someone doing that out in the where a lot of people are going, a pranker, you know, a hoaxer doing something like that. But when you're out in the middle of nowhere and you have that type of detail, I just don't buy it. Just like the Patterson-Gimlin film, you know, I think that's straight up legit.
Well, you know, there's so many different hoaxes out there. And I think most hoaxes are done in an area that's convenient.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Well, something.
Well, they're accessible areas. You know what I mean? They're not going to be off the beaten path and bushwhacking, if you will. They're lazier than that.
Right.
Unless you like photo and video evidence, because some of it's so bad. It's like, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? You didn't even try, dude. You went to Party City and got a gorilla suit.
Mm-hmm.
Give me something better than that. You know. And I know I beat this to death, but that Patterson-Gimlin film from 1967, Bluff Creek, Northern California, that is so. It's the Holy Grail. I think that is it. You're looking at a female Sasquatch, approximately 7 foot 6 inches, and weighs over 600 pounds. You know, you're seeing musculature in the back. You're seeing the rhomboids. You're seeing the trapezius muscles, the lat muscles moving. Fingers moving. You're seeing the butt muscles, the glutes are flexing. You see the calf, and there seems to be some type of bulbous anomaly.
It'd be a really tight
anomaly on
suit.
the arm or on the leg when it walks. It's like a herniated quadricep or something, like an old injury. How do you? That's just. We hired that guy he was like 6'2" or something like that, maybe 240 pounds, which back then I guess that's a really big guy, But he was like, yeah, it was me. I'm the one that wore that suit. They paid me $500. Bullshit, man. There's no way. There's no way. It's physically impossible. Like I said, 7 foot 6. They went back and they went to that exact location by helicopter, by the way. Patterson and Gimlin got there on horseback in 1967, but they went there in helicopter and they did a digital scan, a 360-degree digital scan. It was the exact same area, and they just basically superimposed the female Sasquatch in that area. And that's how they estimated her size. I mean, that is big, man.
See, folks, I'm learning on this show. I'm crypto stupid, so John fills me in on all this stuff.
Because I'm such a Bigfoot nerd. I mean, I love that stuff. I just love it. I mean, don't get me wrong. The UFO thing, I mean, that's huge. That's impacted my life certainly a lot more than anything else. But the cryptozoology stuff is just so big to me, and it's not just the Bigfoot. I'm really into the the chupacabra stuff, and all these other mysterious creatures, all the way down to the grass man in Ohio, which it seems to be like a werewolf kind of a thing.
Well, I was looking on the Black Vault today, and some of the case files. They had a large, strange-looking thing. I don't even know what to call it.
What, a still photo or something?
It was in the ocean that a fishing crew.
Oh, the Japanese fishing trawler?
They said it was.
And it looked like a plesiosaur.
It had a big tail.
It had a long neck.
It almost looked like a gator tail.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of something else.
And I'm going to see if I can pull it up here.
All right. Because there was a Japanese fishing trawler that pulled up it looked like a plesiosaur, which is the atypical when you're a kid, the ocean dinosaurs that had the flippers, the round body, like basically a brontosaur with flippers. That's brontosaurus with flippers. That's kind of what they look like. But dude, and it still had flesh on it. They pulled it up and it had flesh on it still, and they said it smelled horrible. So instead of putting it in a cargo net and dragging it behind the boat or something, and bringing it in for scientific analysis and study, they just dropped it off. It stunk too bad, so we just. What the hell?
Right.
You know how significant that is? That makes the coelacanth that they found, the fish that they thought was extinct for 65 million years. They found that. This makes that look like nothing. We found a rock. That's pretty much a plesiosaur, a living plesiosaur, recently died. I mean, that'd be so huge, man. That phone number again is 360-977-5483. 360-977-LIVE.
Give us a call.
Yeah,
if you
use
want.
the phone. Pick up the phone. Call. We need to talk about some stuff and things and whatnot.
We're talking about all kinds of stuff tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of round robin, if you will.
A little different. Last week we had Leslie Kane on, and that was a fun show.
New York Times bestseller of the book UFOs. What was it? Gosh, pilots, generals go on the record, I believe. Pilots and generals go on the record. So very significant, ladies and gentlemen. I highly recommend the book. It is a fantastic read. It's so easy to read. It's not one of those things where if you're remotely interested in it, you're going to love it. You're going to absolutely. What are you looking at, Wayne? Dude, that is cool.
Strange fish that supposedly washed up on the Tampa Bay, Florida shore in July 2006. Status fake.
I was going to say it looks fake. I mean, it's cool. It looks like a T-Rex head with a fishtail on it.
Or like a fishtail with a werewolf mouth.
Right.
Well, there's all kinds of that stuff going on.
Well, yeah, you know, in the mermaid stuff, you know, that's out there. Now, here's the thing. What's happening right now, ladies and gentlemen, is technology is advancing, and with it, it's a double-edged sword. Of course, the video is getting higher quality, audio is getting higher quality, but with that comes the ability to fake things easier.
There it is.
So you have to really...
It says Iranian vessel.
Oh, is that what Wayne's looking at also?
No.
That's a sunfish.
No, it's different.
Or a basking shark. That's a basking shark, I think. Still cool. But.
Okay, let's see if we can pull this up here.
But if you guys out there in Radioland have seen or heard something you want to share with everyone out there and in the rabbit hole, that would be really cool. Oh, this, I'm familiar with this. I am familiar with this. There's video. What show was that? That has you know, the cool guy on it. They go around looking for things. No. It's paranormal type stuff. We like him. Destination Truth.
Oh yeah.
They had an episode where
Josh.
They went. Yes, they went to Florida, and there's video evidence of this thing, and it's very similar to that. But this thing was like rolling around in the water, and I'm telling you, you can't tell what it is. So they went to biologists that work and do field research in that area. They have been for decades, and they're like, I don't know what the hell that is. They have no idea, but whatever it is large. I mean, we're talking 300-400 pounds.
Yeah, this thing is massive. It's
yeah, it looks big.
You can dig up its probably strange creature found in the Persian Gulf by Iranian vessel.
Hey, let me look at that again.
Google that, and that'll come up.
Now, what I'm looking at here, it looks like an alligator tail. Now, let me tell you something. Now, this also could be a dead croc or alligator.
But the thing is
that's
so
rotting
massive.
out.
The thing is massive, dude. I've never seen a crocodile that big. That would be...
I took it off of there, dude. I'm sorry. I meant to stretch it, make it bigger, but anyways, yeah, it does look big, but if you have a croc or something like that that's decomposing and it's got gases still in it, it's going to float. And it's also, it looks fleshy, like it kind of flayed out. So, I mean, it could be...
You know what?
Could be floating.
I'm thinking you're right.
I think that's what we're looking at.
I'm thinking you're right. Now that I'm looking at it.
You know what? You can kind of see where I'm going with that.
Good call.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we, again, do not believe every single thing we see out here. We will be quick to debunk stuff.
Now that I'm looking at it, you're right.
I think that's what we're looking at there.
I'm getting a better view, and I'm glad you mentioned it because... Wait a minute. Let me see here.
It looks like it probably was dead for a long time, and it just kind of decomposed and it's floaty and all fleshy looking, rotted out.
Yeah, this is... I don't know, man. It's hard to tell which end is the front and which end is the back.
I think you're looking at the tail, so the head is up front in front of it, but it's decomposed. It almost has a tadpole kind of a look to it, like it flayed out. It's all rotted out. You can see the white flesh hanging off of it, you know, like how a whale carcass looks.
Right.
You know, a whale carcass out there floating around. You got like great whites getting all whale blubber drunk, eating off of it. I saw a program where a guy is during Shark Week, which is like my favorite week of television. Shark Week. Oh, I love sharks, dude. My favorite animal in the world. So this guy gets off the boat, okay, and he's standing. He sits down on this whale carcass while there is a great white feeding frenzy. He's surrounded by 16 to 18 footers, and they're coming up and just eating off this, and he's just standing there. What if, like, you know, 4 of them went on one side of it, and they all bit, and it rolled and pitched, and he went in the water? Dude, he'd be done. But, I mean, kudos for having
braver than I am.
Some big ones on that. Yeah. I mean, that's my favorite animal in the world is the great white, but you wouldn't catch me doing that. But I would get in a shark cage. I would. Would you do that?
Maybe. I don't think that would bother me too much.
The only thing that would bother me is sometimes you see the great white, like they're hand feeding it, you know, and then its head gets stuck in the cage or something, and it just like rips the cage apart. No thanks. No thanks. Not into that.
I don't think the shark, just the shark suit. I don't know about that.
Well, there's guys out there that free dive. There's one guy in particular. I can't remember his name, but this guy was nuts. He would swim right up to the shark, and he would put his hand. For some reason, it's the receptors that they have on the tips of their noses. If you touch their noses, it's like your electrical field kind of almost paralyzes them. It trips them out.
Mm-hmm.
So he had an 18-foot male great white, and he put his hand on its nose, and it kind of goes into this weird trance. And then he floated it around, and it looked like he was holding it upside down, like its nose was in the palm of his hand.
Kind of like the gator thing where you get underneath the chin there.
I was sitting there thinking to myself, you've got to be kidding me. Wow, Wayne's looking at all sorts of crazy stuff. Now, giants, that's another thing that I'm really interested in.
Is that a real hand?
Well,
that looks interesting. Kind of freaky.
That there looks photoshopped.
That or it's some bloated hand.
Yeah, but it was as big as his torso. That'd be one bloated hand, baby.
Now, speaking of television, one of the things I just recently saw was the Ghost Adventures where they're at the Exorcist house.
Oh, I missed it. Was that good?
It was pretty good. It was kind of tweaked me out. And it was the house that was where the actual possession took place.
Which in real life was a young boy,
right?
Not a girl.
Which was a young boy, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And they based the movie off of that. The thing that kept running through my head was after, you know, the Ghost Adventure team goes in and brings all this stuff out, the family's got to go back in the home and live there. No big deal. You know?
Right.
We don't believe in that crap. Okay, well.
Is that what they said? Did they say we don't believe in this?
No, you never saw the owners.
Oh, okay.
But the neighbor, he's like, I'm not going in there. He said it just seems like there's always something bad. Families get divorced. It's just.
Oh, really?
You know, harbors that bad energy. Now, there was a fellow that was a ghost guy before, and he had a Ouija board, whatever you want to call it.
He had one of those Ouija boards.
Ouija.
It was an Ouija board.
Ouija. So anyway, if anybody out there has watched the show, they know what I'm talking about. And it seemed like that was because the boy and his grandmother or aunt or whoever would mess with the Ouija board, and that's what opened the doorway to cause this.
That's what they say. I mean, like the experts, they say that you're kind of opening yourself up when you do that.
Now, you know, Zach had the little ghost talk box thing on top of the Ouija board that the dude brought.
Which I'm on the fence on that thing. I don't know. I mean, except for he gets intelligent responses sometimes, which makes you go, wow, that was very specific.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
what did he
know.
Get? What did he get?
Well, he got some pretty weird voices coming out. One, you know, you heard one say like devil, and this other one goes Diablo. You know.
Diablo?
Yeah, sounded like Beavis.
Spanish.
Talking.
Devil.
Diablo. You know, it was kind of weird. Kind of something creepy like you'd see in the movies.
Like Beavis.
It sounded like Beavis. Devil.
Interesting. Yeah, I think I may have TiVo'd it. I usually do. I set my DVR for pretty much anything coming up. I'll just go fishing. You know, I'll look on there and record. In fact, it's funny. When the upstairs DVR, my wife's got, you know, Army Wives, Real Housewives of New Jersey. I get dumber every time I see that. But then you go downstairs, and I've got, you know, football and Bigfoot this, Bigfoot that, alien this, alien that. I mean, like 50, 60, 70 hours worth of this stuff. And that's, that is all good information. That's where a lot of my research happens,
I think there's good bits and pieces that they can get from it.
Right.
I mean, you can't. It sucks when you. I think they overdo the reenactments.
Oh, definitely.
Because then it just places that whole scenario in your mind of what actually happened.
Right.
And
right. They're really matter of fact about it. Like, this is exactly how it happened.
Right. And, some of it's probably close, but sometimes they embellish it for TV. Yeah.
A lot. Well, that's what gets viewers in.
Right.
And that's what's unfortunate also. It is unfortunate because people get the wrong idea. And also that's what makes people who are on the fence or skeptical about paranormal type stuff, it makes them go, whatever. It ruins them, where you have absolute winners out there like Leslie Kane, who does all the research and talks to authority and gets authoritative testimony from these high-ranking officials and stuff. I think that's the big difference maker.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way she approaches the subject and how she does her research. So I'm still wanting to get involved in the Umatilla tribal thing, with the weird audio. We're going to do that also, ladies and gentlemen. We're probably going to make a field trip out there and get with these folks.
We definitely need to make it happen sooner than later.
Right.
Definitely for the weather purpose.
Right. And also, it could be a seasonal thing. I mean,
it's true.
I don't know if we're dealing with Bigfoot there. I think we're dealing with something totally different. That's just looking at it from the way I'm seeing it right now. Is I think we're looking at something totally different. But it could be a migratory thing. So, we need to get on that, definitely. Mm-hmm. I still haven't contacted that guy. I need to do that. There's a phone number on that, one of those videos, one of those audio things. There's a phone number there. A guy wants to be contacted, so I'm sure he'd be more than happy to come on the Rabbit Hole and talk to us about it.
That would be groovy. Maybe we can get him on next week and make it happen.
Yeah, I'm going to work on that right away tomorrow. That's what I'm going to do. Try to get a hold of him. Not that I have all this spare time. John Fogel is spread very thin, ladies and gentlemen, right now. So, well, we're going to take a quick little break here. That phone number is 360-977-5483. 360-977-LIVE. And give us a call, and we'll talk about some stuff. You're on the Rabbit Hole, KouvRadio.com. We'll be right back.
You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland.
It's the question I've got.
And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
It's the question I've got.
You stay in Wonderland.
It's the question I've
And I
got.
show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
I didn't say it would be easy.
It's the question I've got.
The rabbit hole.
Wanted to
Hello. Welcome back. KouvRadio.com. You're in the rabbit hole. James Sweet, John Fogel. How are you?
We're back.
Yes, we are. We're excited to be here, and we're glad you're here with us. And again, that phone number is 360-977-5483. 360-977 Go live. Go live. Keep us alive.
Please call us.
So
please.
Here's kind of my view on Washington right now.
As in the state?
Did you hear about that? All that stuff, shooting and all that stuff?
D.C.?
Yeah, D.C. and I mean.
You talking about the naval yard thing that happened?
No, the
G-37 blew away that lady with the kid in her car.
There was a new one?
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything about it.
Yeah, crazy stuff. And so this gal's driving around.
Yeah.
You know, and supposedly a bunch of D.C. cops told her to stop. I think supposedly she looked a little lost. There's video on this. I haven't seen all the video.
It was a good chase.
And they told her to stop, and they opened fire on her. Killed her.
Because she wouldn't stop her vehicle?
Right.
Were they in jeopardy? Were they in harm's way? Or?
Well, supposedly. I mean, they said that a cop ran into a barricade with his car, and it was her fault. I saw the video of that.
Yeah.
There was nobody around. This cop just drove straight into this thing like he
locked it up,
fell asleep, or like it was just.
He was out of control.
He wasn't even out of control. He was just going straight.
Yeah,
and just rammed right into this barricade. It
probably texting. You know what I mean? Seriously, I mean, he could have been.
Hey guys, I'm in a police chase. Awesome. Oh.
Right.
So they shot her because he went through a barricade. Supposedly she forced the cop through a barricade, so they shot her, and she was running and wasn't stopping.
What the hell?
Well, here's one of the rumors that went around that the D.C. police, somebody called in and said that there was a rumor that she was spouting she had Obama's kid and wanted to show him the kid, the child. So, you know, that would make more of the scandal.
Boy, But the kid's still alive. Is she dead?
She's dead.
They killed her. The kid's still alive.
The 1-year-old's alive. Now, she's this, you know, young, cute little black girl, and she has no priors, nothing fishy about her past, and because that's what they said they were going to do. They were going to dig into her past and try to, obviously, like they do, find stuff on her. You know, just so they can exploit it.
Well, basically, they're just one DNA test away from confirming if this is Obama's kid, right? I mean,
right. Well, and this is just rumor. Right? Nobody's officially stated that was what was said. That's just rumor and conjecture.
Right.
But, yeah, the report that I heard at the beginning was she came up and she was there at the barricade or whatever, and she was trying to get through for whatever reason, and they told her no, she needed to turn around and leave or whatever, and as she left, she bumped an officer that was standing there.
Because she was lost, and she went around this...
Yeah, so she went around, and they had told her to go somewhere else, but as she was backing up from the barricade or whatever, she hit one of the guys.
Right.
I just don't understand.
And so, boom, she tried to kill a federal officer.
Was he in a vehicle also?
No, he was standing behind the car. They were all standing there. You know, she's at a military checkpoint, basically.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you need to back up, turn around, get out of here. So I guess she maneuvered to get away from the barricades, and in the meantime, hit a guy that was either in front of her car or standing behind it, or it didn't say, but it sounded like, obviously, if she put it in reverse and took off and hit somebody.
And then they opened fire, and then she started to drive away. And
then they chased her for a while.
Right.
Which naturally, you know, that's what you do when you're getting shot at by crazy-ass cops.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm going to have to look into this because none of that makes sense. But we're getting this a lot.
Well, and here's the thing that disturbs me is that how many cop episode have we seen where there's a police chase, nobody gets shot unless a weapon's drawn.
Or they use their vehicle as a weapon. And it sounds like they shot her as a preemptive strike of her doing that, not because she was doing it.
Right. But, I mean, she was unarmed. There was a child in the back. That could have been clearly seen. you can assess the situation, I would think, as an officer.
Well, yeah, they've been trained for that.
Right. So you would be able to visually comprehend whether that was an accident or that was viciously done on purpose.
Right. We can't forget that police are people too, and they make mistakes. And you know, I mean, I get it, but
What?
But here's the thing: is people are kind of reaching, I think, to say that they were on a seek and destroy mission to kill this lady.
Well,
I mean,
here's what I think too could have happened, and like I said, I haven't seen a lot of the videos. I've seen a couple, but you know how you see in the movies where as soon as one person starts to fire, everybody else
it's like
gets excited and does the same thing.
Yeah,
I'm thinking that could have been some of the case.
Well, the first guy shouldn't have pulled the trigger anyways, unless he was, you know, absolute disparity of force. He was like, oh, you know, I have to do this to save my life or the life of someone else.
Right. Well, they usually call officer hit, officer down, whatever, and then boom, they all react to protect the officer. And in the same instance, did you see the motorcycles around the Range Rover?
Hey, that biker had it coming, man.
Totally.
You know, when you surround someone's car, you want to shut the highway down like a bully, so you can do tricks. And this guy had his family in the vehicle, you know. And he was surrounded, and they were approaching him. You know, what are you gonna do? Just sit there and wait for it? You know, the guy punched it, and the Range Rover was like getting it done.
Well, the motorcycle brake checked the Range Rover.
Right.
You know, you got to think it's a 3,800-pound car on your 800-pound motorcycle.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to stop. And then they start coming up and trying to get in his car, and they're beating it with helmets and stuff. You know,
right.
Boom, you take off.
Right.
So you drive over the dude in his motorcycle.
That was a classic case of self-preservation and, you know, and family safety. That comes first. You know, that guy went into Papa Bear mode, and I don't blame him one bit. That was ridiculous. Have you seen any of that, James?
I have not.
Oh my gosh, crazy scary. You know.
And I've seen a couple different camera angles from helmet cams on the motorcycles, and basically this guy's driving down the freeway. He's all by himself. He's in the middle lane, and this pack of motorcycles comes up around him, and they all get around him, and then they try to slow down and stop him.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they couldn't have stopped behind him and let him go and then stopped all the other traffic. There was 100 more motorcycles behind him. And then the bike pulls in front of him, looks back, and hits the brakes. And the guy, you see the nose go down, and boom, it hits the motorcycle. And then they start getting off their bikes and just start beating the truck. And so he drives over the bike and takes off.
I mean, dude, he's up on 3 wheels at one point. I mean, it's like
jumps.
He's going over this dude. I guess the guy's paralyzed. You know, but
you know, check it out.
It happens 3 times. They fall him out of the vehicle and slash his face with a knife. And the first time they popped his tires, that's when he took off finally.
Yeah. Where were the cops when this was going on? I mean,
yeah, right. And I'm like, okay, in an SUV like that, you just have to push one button to make a phone call.
Right.
You know, so he went several blocks. They surrounded him again. He took off again. I guess the wife had taken their 2 or 3-year-old baby and held it in her arms at this point. And then he gets stuck in New York downtown traffic, like in the projects or something. There's cars on all sides in one lane, and they come up around him, and that's when they pull him out of the vehicle. They smash the windows with the helmets and stuff like that. You know, but it's the same kind of thing. One of our friends got hurt.
Crotch Rocket gang or something?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it wasn't a real. I mean, real bikers don't do that. You know, I mean, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, where are the real bikers when this is going down? Because they would have schooled those little punks. They would have schooled them, show them what it's really like.
But you know, the thing is the 100 bikes behind them didn't see what happened up front, so they're all going after to protect their friend. Right. You know, this guy just ran over our friend. Jeez, they don't know what happened there. Same with the cop. One cop says, "Oh, I'm down it. She hit me. You know, she deliberately ran me over." Boom, they all go after him, and then they try to answer questions later.
Right.
But in this case, the motorcyclists are getting in trouble, and the cops aren't.
Yeah, just the video that I saw from what was said, as to opposed to what was actually on video, completely different story. So it was.
Well, that's another thing that we all have to be cognizant of. We are living in a time where everyone has a camera on them all of the time.
Right.
And you have to be cognizant of that, especially if you're an authoritative figure like a police officer. You know, you're not going to be able to lie your way out of those things.
Yeah.
How unfortunate.
I guess it doesn't matter when the official story says one thing.
Yep.
Well, there we go again, folks, in the rabbit hole, where perception is reality, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. Perception is reality.
Mm-hmm.
So that's too bad. That's sad. That poor kid. So, Wayne is in emergency mode.
Total emergency mode.
Yeah, he's working on something. Oh. So, 360-977-5483, 360-977 live.
Let's remind our viewers, next week we're going to be starting same day.
Same day, 1 hour earlier.
1 hour earlier, 9
p.m.
o'clock.
9 p.m.
9 p.m. Pacific time.
And not to it's going to change again. More than likely, we're probably even going to change days and go from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Mondays tentatively.
So the more listeners they get, the better time slot they get. How about that? So
Right.
Spread the word. Tell people to log in and listen. We're tracking them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so if you want them on Monday nights, have more people listen. Or call in and tell us.
We're going to beat out Ron Burgundy.
Stay classy, Vancouver.
Stay classy.
Yeah, we're here to talk about all sorts of stuff. I mean, where you've had a ghostly apparition experience, you've seen a UFO, you've seen something you can't explain in the water, in the woods, prints. Even if you have a story from your drunk Uncle Jake, we want to hear about it because we can kind of dissect it and do our own little investigation on it. Because every story has significance. Everything is significant. And again, we don't believe every single thing that we hear. So that's a part of our job in the rabbit hole also, is to cut through the BS, if you will. Because we want the listener to get the best quality product we can put forth.
Well, I think it's good to be objective of things that come out there. You got to look at all sides of it, and
right. Because we've been duped. We've been duped.
Yeah, I mean,
remember the 2007 Haiti video?
Well, when it first came out,
Dude, that was
pretty amazing.
It was incredible. It was like, there's no way this is fake, because at the time, we didn't believe that technology was available. But it turns out some guy in France did it with what was it? It's some program that anybody can get now.
Right. It was called View 6.
Yeah, and we were duped. I mean, I was pretty tentative about it. I was like, I don't know. It was too good to be true. It was so awesome.
Well, it was well done, and most people that have that capability to do that kind of stuff are making money for a living doing it, and not just doing it in their spare time.
Right. The biggest part of that made me skeptical was the fact that it was so amazing, and the cameraman wasn't breathing hard, he wasn't panicking, he wasn't talking, and there wasn't a bunch of people outside, pointing up, going, oh my God, look at this. It was just really quiet, and like, I'll just film this quietly.
Right. When they started dissecting it, they noticed that the trees were
all the same,
matching, and they just were placed, and
right.
It's still a cool video.
Yeah, it is.
Nonetheless.
I still watch it,
and just I like there's a few videos out there like that were done with that program, and it's like, man, that's just cool stuff. Where's the rest of the movie?
Right. And then you've got stuff like in 1997, the Phoenix Lights that happened in April of 1997 in Phoenix, in the city of Phoenix. That obviously wasn't as fantastic as the Haiti video, but what makes that special is it was real.
Right.
And that was real. That really happened. I just wish someone had video of it when it went over all these houses and all these neighborhoods.
Well,
and over like a 500-mile course, all these people saw it, and no one got a friggin' picture.
What's amazing about Phoenix and Arizona, there's so many out in the desert hieroglyphs carved in rocks out there.
Yep.
It's a lot of
the Hopi Indians have
Indian areas that you can hike up there and find these things. And now, that being said, since it's public, I'm curious on how many have, there have been people going out and carving on rocks, just drawing certain pictures to emulate.
There's a way to accurately date these things also.
That's what I'm wondering, because
Yeah,
I was watching a video today, and it was an older one, but it was a gal and a camera crew. They were hiking up in Arizona, and there was a hieroglyph or picture imprinted on a rock of a UFO, a disc-shaped craft.
Mm-hmm.
And my question was, how can you determine whether it was an aged carving or not?
It's like the weathering, what type of rock it is, what condition the carving is in.
Carbon dating.
Yeah, there's a way of dating it. Here, I'm glad you brought that up, because there in the American Southwest there are spiral pictographs.
Right.
And what that reminds me of is that in 2008 in Norway, when President Barack Obama was going to be presented the Nobel Peace Prize, there was a giant spiral up in the sky. It looked just like that. Now, that being said, the debunking is that it was a failed missile launch from the Russians.
I don't buy it.
I don't either.
They were trying to attack bomb or something.
No.
The videos that I've seen are pretty amazing.
Yeah, they're saying it was just a failed missile test. It was just a test off a naval vessel from Russia. Mm-hmm. But, dude, it so was not. It wasn't, because it looked like a vortex. It looked like, when you look at the center of it, it was blacker than black. It was blacker than the sky, than the night sky was around it. Mm-hmm. And it swirled around, and it looked very reminiscent, almost exactly duplicates what I've seen old Native American drawings on these pictographs on the rocks.
Well, there's been Mayan spirals. I mean, it's
Egyptian.
depicted all over the place.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think we're looking at something very relevant there, something unexplained. That is straight up rabbit hole stuff right there. Mm-hmm. I just don't buy the whole failed missile launch thing.
No,
because I Googled that. You can go on YouTube and you can look that stuff up, and you can see what those look like, and it looks different. They do spiral out of control, but they don't leave those contrails that are perfect and glowing.
Right.
Smoke doesn't glow.
Right.
Why would the smoke glow? Mm-hmm. You know?
No,
it was bright.
I concur. You concur?
I concur. The message is authentic.
I concur.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you want to check that out, look that up. Could put in Norway spiral. I'm sure that's what it's under.
Well, those things, I had posted stuff before from YouTube. There's news people witnessing these things and in awe of these spirals going on in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
It is. It's awesome. And
we're in an exciting time.
We are. Things are changing, man. I mean, I'm not talking 2012. Obviously we're almost 2014 here, and we're still here. But I think that we are in some type of a shift.
Zombies. Zombies.
I think we're in some kind of a shift because things seem to be ramping up, and I don't think it's just because we live in a day and age where information is more accessible, and the web and stuff like the web of information.
Well, I think that's a big part of it.
I think it is too, but
there's so many things that we wouldn't hear about as fast, like big meteors or fireballs in the sky that's been happening lately.
Right.
We wouldn't get that information as quick.
Right, I agree, but I think that stuff is actually happening more frequently.
Right.
Like the impact that happened in Russia. Mm-hmm. I mean, dude, that was big time. I think that's a meteorological event is what happened there, but it makes you wonder what else is coming. Because that's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. When you have one meteor that is that large that can make that kind of an impact, usually it comes in waves, and there's going to be more behind it. It's like that's the beginning of something else.
Well, those 3 fireballs that happened, what was it, last week?
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty amazing.
It was.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen the last of it.
I missed the 3 fireballs from last week. What's up with that?
Well, that was over America.
Was it
East Coast.
In Colorado or Indiana?
No, it's East Coast. I can't remember exactly, but I know it started from the eastern seaboard and moved its way west. All 3 of them did. And what's interesting about that is normally when you see a meteor, it's going to have a reddish, orangish glow. And the reason why that is because it's going to be mostly iron. And that's what color iron is when it burns up in the atmosphere. These things are blue. Mm-hmm. Blue and white, and they seem to self-illuminate almost. It doesn't seem like it's just burning up in the atmosphere. It self-illuminates. And there isn't much of a tail behind it either, which is even more interesting.
Right.
So, but yeah, I hope there isn't like a big ass rock heading for Earth right now, because that scares me. That natural disaster scares me more than any other, I think, because of the absolute helplessness we have. We haven't developed anything to help deviate anything like this. I mean, we're not talking the movie Armageddon here or Deep Impact. We have nothing.
Bruce Willis isn't going to go out there and...
No, he's not going to go out there and drill and mine and put a nuke in there. And we have nothing. We have nothing to protect us from a huge impact.
Well, Affleck's going to be Batman, so...
Yeah.
Affleck. Dude, you don't even get me started. That is so disappointing. Are you kidding me?
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Daredevil Batman.
Where's Matt Damon? I need Matt
Damon.
Don't even get me started. My understanding on that is he's not going to be featured in a film. He's going to be playing Batman in an Avengers role or something like that, right? Not Avengers. Maybe it's DC, so it's going to be.
It'll be more funny.
Well, there's going to be a Batman Superman.
That's it.
Film. Because.
But it's going to be the same Superman as the last Superman, right?
Huh?
Is it supposed to be the same guy that played Superman?
In the last one, dude, that last Superman is. You didn't like it.
I never saw
Man
of Steel.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh, wow, dude, it's fantastic. It was so well done.
I just saw Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't too thrilled of.
The first one and the second one, they were cool.
Yeah.
But I'm just not an Iron Man guy. I'm just not.
I like Iron Man. I love the first one, and I love Robert Downey. I mean, the guy's such a great actor.
And he's probably the best.
He nailed this. He is Tony Stark.
Dude, he was awesome in Tropical Thunder. I mean, that guy,
Tropic Thunder? Oh, yeah.
Tropic Thunder, yeah. Dude, he's funny as hell. The guy's a fantastic actor. But I'm just not an Iron Man guy, I guess. I love me some Batman, love Superman. The problem I have with Superman is he is godlike. His only weakness is a piece of his home planet. And come on, man. You gotta have some kind of chink in the armor,
Right.
It can't be just that. I mean, then Superman Returns, Superman lifts a continent off the planet Earth. It's made of kryptonite, and he throws it out into space. And come on. Come on, man.
Those are writing flaws.
Right. I thought he did good. Brandon Routh did a good job as Superman, but too young. This guy here is perfect. He's about 35 years old, and
I think that's what the world needs right now. We need a superhero. We need a Superman.
Well, we're trying.
And
we're superheroes of information.
And I'm not talking about the Antichrist.
Yeah.
Not the changer of times, but we need just a good old superhero.
They would just kill him once they identified him. Anyways,
we need a kick-ass.
A kick-ass. I need to see that part too.
Yeah, we need a kick-ass.
We had a couple of superheroes in the '60s, and they killed them. So, I don't know.
Really?
Yeah. Well, the Kennedys. I mean, that was
true. Kennedy was a super guy.
Dude, he was. And yeah, he was a philanderer and this and that. But man, could that guy govern?
Yeah. He was one of the good ones.
Yeah. Now they're all Bohemia Grove, pickouts and. Where's the other? What's it? Bilderberger. The Bilderberger.
Right.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, is conspiracy theory stuff. Look it up. Boy, it's so creepy. It's so creepy. It's almost like they go to this. It's the top 100 people who run the planet, and they go to this place, and it's like they come out, and then things change.
Which, if you want to
see all of us,
a really good movie that touches on some of the things that go on, I really think Eyes Wide Shut really touched on some of that stuff. The only Kubrick film I really enjoyed was Full Metal Jacket. Dude, Eyes Wide Shut, I felt like I needed toothpicks to keep my eyes open. I just could not. It was so bizarre. Right, but look at the occult practices of some of these elite people.
I agree. Yeah.
I didn't mean to laugh. I just did not expect that out of your mouth. So
Eyes Wide Shut. It's like what?
You're right. The elitist.
It's a sinister film. It's a very dark film, but
it
is
a
lot of truth to it too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the way it is, you guys. I mean, let's face it. There are about 100 people on this planet who run everything, and that's not a conspiracy theory. That's fact. That's just the way it is, because everything these guys touch, they own all the media.
Except for KouvRadio.
Except for KouvRadio. We bow to no one. We're giving you the truth. Giving you the truth, folks. So, I don't know. That is something for you listeners to research. The Bilderberger Group and Bohemia Grove.
Yeah, and it ties on to all those secret societies.
It does. That's where presidencies are decided in advance.
Right, and they branch off. You have the Skull and Bones, which Bush was a part of.
Dude, that list is huge. How many people are Skull and Bones who are ex-presidents and senators and stuff? It's like this stuff is decided when these guys are in their infancy. It's just like a lineage bloodline thing, which then again we're kind of getting to the David Icke thing, but gosh, it sure ties up nicely.
And which I've been doing some more look into on that, and man, the research there is just so good.
It is. The way he's able to tie it together, it makes you feel like this guy's a total nut, man. But then you go, wow, that makes sense.
Right.
Holy crap.
I'm
I think he's a little paranoid, and I think that there is a little nuttiness there. But I think also he makes some incredible points.
I just, after reading and doing the research on it, it really puts the puzzle together.
Yeah.
It really fills in the pieces.
Those of you who don't know who David Icke is, he's an ex-journalist. He's also an ex-professional soccer player, but he has a film out there. It's called The Matrix, right?
Well, the book that I have is called Children of the Matrix.
Children of the Matrix. But there was a documentary. What's his documentary called?
He has a film out. It's basically of his seminars, and I have to look at the title again.
I would too.
I have it,
but it's spelled. It's David Icke, E-I-C-K-E. That's how you spell it. How you spell his name?
I think it's just I-C-K-E.
I-C-K-E.
Yeah.
I-C-K-A.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. But he makes some interesting points, and at first you're going to be kind of like, oh, come on, but he makes it tie together.
Well, the biggest thing too is the genealogy of the people in power. If you go back and you research this, your eyes start opening up, and you're like,
right.
Whoa.
He's not making it up. He's not making it up.
This is fact.
It's bloodline stuff. It really is. It's like presidencies, kingdoms, matriarchies, patriarchies. I mean, they're all.
And it ties
bloodline.
back to the Egyptian time or before, and the research is wowing. And here's the funny thing: is I was looking at some of the, like the Red Cross, all these things that have been developed, I guess, over time.
You're talking about like the Crusades, the Templar?
Right, but I'm
symbols.
talking about the actual Red Cross.
Symbols.
The blood drive.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about it and you do the research on where these places come from, and it makes a lot of sense. It really does. But that's for each person.
Right.
I really truly believe that each person has to do the research, do their homework. You can't take my word for it.
Right. You can't just like drink the Kool-Aid.
Right.
You have to figure out what matters to you. And we all have to decide what's important. And let's face it, the truth is important. How do you get the truth? Well, you research and you make up your own mind. But I strongly suggest people look into this. It's mind candy to a point, but it's also it's mixed with a bitter pill.
Right. Because
you don't want to believe it. You just don't.
I would love to get David Icke on the show. I really would. I'm trying. I am trying. Because I really respect his efforts.
I do too. The guy's traveled the world like 1 million times. He's been in 60 different countries discussing this. I mean, he did that interview with Credo Mutwa, who was the chief of the the African warriors. They were like, what are they? Zulu.
Yeah.
Of the Zulu tribe. And this guy presented him with all sorts of like thousands of year old gold statues and stuff. These reptilian beings, and he tells a pretty interesting story too.
Right. Well, I mean, it's history and lineage passed down from all their great people, and
chieftain to chieftain.
And they're not like us, where they dilute their histories. Where it just becomes make-believe, if you will, especially with a lot of American history these days, is just so made up and sounds just fun for kids to...
Well, you know what they say, the winners are the ones who write the history books.
Right.
You know, they'll create whatever history they want.
Right. So, you know, in that respect, that's what I find so fascinating about the Ike stuff is the detail and the research, and going back and you're learning so much about genealogy of our forefathers.
Right.
You know, all
of ours, because as different as we all look, we are more closely related than a lot of people think. In fact, anthropologists believe at one point in time, I think it was like within the past 50,000 years, the human race got down to 4,000 people, planet-wide.
It's like the Rosicrucian scale that they believe, what was it, 500 million?
Yes.
Was the max.
Keep it down to 500 million. Oh, we're pretty far over that right now. Yeah. 7 billion plus and counting.
Going on 11.
11?
We're past 9, I believe now, aren't we?
No, we just hit 7.
Okay.
Just last
I
year.
thought we were around the 9 billion.
7 billion people. That was a lot of mouths to feed. You know, and
it's a lot of GMO to make.
Right. Well, that's another reason. And people, seriously, let's think about it for a second. The reason why we're seeing genetic manipulation in crops and in food and stuff is because we have to. There is more people than this planet was designed to house. I mean, like 4 times. So you're going to see that whether you like it or not. You're going to be eating, you know, test tube fish and all this other weird stuff.
Well, I think the scariest
hamburger patty.
The scariest part about that subject is the bee colonies that are dying off so badly. I mean, that's...
Have you heard the implications? People are starting to blame the Monsanto Food Corporation for that.
I
because
believe it.
They think that they're intentionally killing the bees, so we have to use their products.
That makes sense. Well, Einstein said if you wanted to destroy the human population, get rid of the bees.
Yeah, the bees die. The human race dies 4 years later. Is what his calculation was. Pretty smart guy. So you know,
right? Somebody to listen to.
Yeah, if I was going to take someone's word for it, if I was going to take someone's word for it, it'd be that guy.
Well, Twinkies will last 20 years, so we can live off of Twinkies. They did in Zombieland.
Thank goodness they came back. So we still have some Twinkies out there.
You know, they're delicious. I can't remember the last one I had, though. But my wife made the best cupcakes on planet Earth today.
Maybe that's a conspiracy why they wanted to get rid of Hostess. I had to throw it out there.
Twinkies, Twinkies, David Icke, and Monsanto Corporation.
The Twinkies are actually healthy for you.
The plot thickens.
It all ties together, ladies and gentlemen.
We're going deep in the rabbit hole.
Rabbit pellets for everyone. So, again, that number is 360-977-5483.
Give us a call if you want.
360-977-LIVE. You know,
well, while you guys are discussing... Go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead. What?
Your conspiracy theories and government blah, 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 blah.
Mm.
I looked a little more into the DC cops thing about this lady.
Oh, you're on Infowars.com.
Yeah, Alex Jones, Infowars.
Alex Jones is an interesting cat.
He's an angry man.
Dude, there's a lot of anger in
So
that,
the
anger in that
DC
little
cops
body.
were running a drill on the same day as the Capitol shooting.
Right, I knew about that.
So a joint training exercise ended today. In addition to barricades and checkpoints placed at the White House, may have played a role in the horrific police execution of a woman today at the nation's capital.
Well, even at the Boston Marathon, there was a training exercise going on at the same time. Really? It's always interesting how they have these little training exercises going on at the same time.
Yeah, so this training exercise is softening up what they did. So they're saying it's a drill that also trains and prepares the Department of Defense to provide defense support to civil authorities and employ appropriate force protection measures as requested. Force protection measures necessary to protect the homeland, like those employed in today's brutal shooting of the 34-year-old dental hygienist. So that is probably why it was so bad, and why when she went into a security checkpoint at 15th Street and Pennsylvania Avenue and then went in about 20 yards and then turned around and before rapidly turning the car around.
My understanding is she went around the roundabout a couple of times because she didn't know where she was going.
Right. So they're saying she was lost.
Driving
she was
erratical.
confused.
Erratic. Shoot her.
Shoot.
You know, the GPS is probably like, turn right now. And she's in the middle of the thing. But anyway,
Screwed up. That's just screwed up.
she was not armed, even though reporters said shots were exchanged, because there was a lot. They were like, people said there was pop, 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 pop. So now they're saying, well, because the officers were in this training,
they were using false or fake ammunition.
No, they were in a
it?
heightened sense of this, and so when gunshots went off, they all started shooting. But they acted heroically. One can only hope that Capitol Shield 24 training laws enforcements can react in a better manner instead of having a 20-car police chase that could barely catch one woman in a car. And they're now learning that she had a history of mental health issues.
Of course.
Oh, they always do afterwards.
Yeah.
You know?
So I was like, okay, I got to read this now.
Of course she's crazy.
They all do, yeah.
So the 20 police cars in a heightened training program that's supposed to be super protection, like a shield, couldn't catch one Infiniti G37.
Well, regardless, I mean, you know, most cops are trained to be able to handle a situation, even if a person's on meth. They're not just going to assume that the person's on meth and shoot them.
Yeah.
They're going to take them down, try to arrest. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, and then you also have to remember you have less than lethal means to incapacitate a suspect. They didn't try to tase her. They didn't try to do anything like that.
Right.
They didn't even, you know, it sounds to me like they didn't even try to block her car in with their cars. It's just, you know.
Right. It stinks, folks. Stinks.
And on the other hand, here in Portland, there was a 34-year-old guy strung out on meth running around a neighborhood naked, and he was being chased by the police, and he fell onto I-5 and started running south towards cars at 3:30 in the morning naked, and they were able to apprehend him with taser guns.
Mm.
They couldn't stop him any other way.
Those taser marks still
are
scarred my back.
I noticed you had a limp.
You know how cold it gets at 3:30 in the morning?
It's pretty cold.
360-977 live. 360-977 live. Keep us alive.
Someone call us.
Yeah. I mean, we got all sorts of stuff. I mean, we can carry this. We can keep going. But I know someone out there has a really cool story they want to share with us. You know, maybe you're on the fence about it. Maybe you're kind of like, I don't know. Hey, listen, you're in a judgment-free zone here. We're not going to judge you. You can call us, and you can tell your story. You have a platform to use. We will give you the platform, and we're not going to ridicule you. No one else will.
I might.
And you can give us a fake name.
Right. This is
Chuck.
Van Jagermunson. And that's okay. That's okay. You can use that name, Van Jagermunson.
Well, speaking of that, and with Halloween coming up, I just posted on KouvRadio.com pull it up. Forgot what they called it. But a name changer so that you can get your evil name, your villain name.
Oh, really? What's the formula?
Is it your address backwards?
It's A through Z, so your first name. You know, so John, you're the brutal. I think it was.
Well, let me give out the website. If they want to check us out, you can go to www.facebook.com/deepintotherabbithole.
My villain name is the Brutal Wizard.
The brutal.
The brutal
you know
wizard,
what?
yeah.
That fits you perfect. You know, and I got to mention, I went to this place last night called Guardian Games, which is a local kind of a.
What was the name of the place? Sorry.
Called Guardian Games.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they have like a lot of. They play Trailer Park Wars and Dungeons and Dragons and all these.
Awesome.
You know, it was a big thing, and they have a bar area where they have live music and they do this thing called
D&D and booze.
Yeah.
I'm so there.
Well, it was, dude. The place was packed. It was crazy. I was like, I'm in John's Wonderland.
Yeah. Yes, you were.
And then they have this other area where they bring up like costume characters and they have tables where you can sketch them. It's called drinking and drawing. You know, people just get take their beer up and start sketching
Awesome.
I was like, how fun is that?
Right.
I suck at drawing, but
it's a creative outlet, something fun. By the way, your villain name is the Brutal Werewolf.
I'm the Brutal Werewolf?
Yep. Yeah.
What's the formula?
It's first letter of your name, which is the Brutal. Mine's John, yours James, so and then S starts with S, and S was werewolf for you, and F was wizard for me. So the Brutal Wizard,
the Brutal Werewolf.
Yeah. Yeah, you are KouvRadio.com in the rabbit hole with the Brutal Wizard and the Brutal Werewolf. It's brutal.
I'm the black creature. If I go with my radio name, I'm the bloody creature.
Wow. The bloody's better.
Yeah.
With the bloody creature.
The creature.
Did I just see one that said the bacon?
The bacon.
No.
There's nothing scary about bacon. Bacon's delicious.
The bacon freak.
It's kind of like Porkins.
Yeah. I seem to be losing altitude, guys. Ah, Porkins.
Dang, Porkins.
You know what's screwed up about that? Those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Porkins was the guy in the original Star Wars. Well, I guess it would be Episode 4, New Hope. He was in his X-Wing fighter, and he gets shot down. But he was the bigger guy, big, thick, heavy set.
That barely fit in.
And
his name was
Porkins.
Porkins. I mean, of all the names, you know what I mean? Nice one, Lucas.
Well, what's funny is that I never caught it as a kid and never paid attention to it. Porkins!
He's eating. Dude, they should have shown him eating pork rinds.
Pull it up, Porkins!
Playing. I dropped my pork rinds.
That's why he went down. He was reaching down there for him and pushed
my Funyuns. I dropped my Funyuns. Going down.
Classic.
Lucas was ahead of his time if you knew what Funyuns were then.
Dude, that guy was so ahead of his time, but he still ruined all the other movies. He did. He did. You know, I hate to say it, but it's true, man. You mean
the first three?
Yeah, well, no, Empire was pretty awesome. No. I like Jedi, too. Jedi was pretty good, too.
Well, see, Lucas didn't direct Empire.
Right. Exactly. That was my next point. He didn't direct Empire, so.
You know, he gave us Star Wars.
Right.
I
can't take that away.
I can't take that away, but I think the newer versions, I wasn't totally on board. There was some great characters in him.
Jar Jar Binks.
He looks like my goat.
Seriously, Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
He's irritating. It's like, dude. So the new ones, obviously, we all know that Disney bought Lucas Arts.
Right.
So they're going to get a chance, and the fans, and we are huge fans, want to see it go darker.
I think
it's going to go darker, kind of like what they did with Batman.
I think Abrams is going to come correct.
I think he's going to do all right.
I mean, I love Star Trek. The new ones that he did.
Yeah. The Star Trek was just a prequel to the new Star Wars.
Those are good. What? Star Trek? Yeah. Star Trek and Star Wars are two different things.
I don't think we're going to see any lens flares, buddy.
Yeah.
I know, but it was just a prequel to what you're going to see. It was him practicing for Star Wars.
Right.
Because you can mess up Star Trek. I almost said the F word.
In Klingon.
Right.
Right. You can nosh the Star Trek series, but you can't the Star Wars series.
I had a student at work, at training or whatever, and he's a Star Trek dude. It was so funny. I mean, it was like two nerds.
Was he a Trekkie?
Yes. It was like two nerds arguing about it. I was like, dude, you know, Star Trek is what Star Wars crapped out. You know, that's like what it is. I mean, it's so superior to me. I think it is. But the new Star Wars with the J.J. Abrams directing, those are pretty fantastic. I had a great time watching them.
Well, here's the thing. I think a lot of Trekkies really the hardcore Trekkies. I think they.
Eject Parkins.
Eject Parkins. You're on fire.
I draw my Funyuns.
I smell bacon.
We have funny computer images here.
Uh-huh.
But I think a lot of the hardcore Trekkies are in that idea of the Federation going out and searching for new life, which I loved it when I was a kid. I loved the original Star Treks with Shatner and
I'm too handsome for the camera.
Bones.
Okay, sorry, viewers, or listeners, you have no idea what we're like. We're looking at that Porkins guy, and he's holding a bucket of KFC in the
cockpit. He's got a NASCAR sticker and a Dale Earnhardt sticker on his helmet.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Classic. I like it.
That's funny. Yeah, I agree. And you know what? Arguably, that's what people talk about in the UFO world, too, that there is a federation out there. There's some people who believe that,
Right.
you know, that there are different alien gray races, and then there's the reptilians, and the reptilians are kind of the Klingons, if you will, the bad guys. They're supposed to be good guys.
The Dracos.
Right, the Draconians.
Well, the Star Trek movies that were put out with Shatner, and there was only one that I actually liked, and it was the one where
No, I liked that one.
See, it was the one where they go back to Earth and the whale and the big thing comes and tries to speak to the whale.
Oh yeah. They go back
I like the humor part of it, but the original Star Trek movies I could never get on board with. At least with what Abrams did, he changed it to where you didn't have to be a Star Trek fan to like these films.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if he takes it in that direction, that you don't necessarily have to be a huge Star Wars fan to like what he's going to do.
I'm wondering what he's going to do, too. I mean, I'm hearing rumors of there might be an Obi-Wan film. There may be a Yoda when he was a younger film. There may be a Boba Fett when he was a younger film.
Right.
So
I know they're going to do some spin-offs.
Yeah, I mean...
With Solo and Fett.
So after they do the last 3 of the 9 series, you think there's going to be spin-offs like the books did, huh?
That's what they're talking
right.
about.
And we
I
don't
don't see how they could do a Han Solo because Harrison Ford is Han Solo.
Well, they're going to do a younger version.
Well, he was pretty young in New Hope, dude. He was like, what, 28 years old?
Well, he was the older guy out of it. He was 33 when he filmed.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I kind of hope you know what? I'm just going to say here, I don't really give a crap about Han Solo. I was never a big Han Solo fan. I mean, I thought he was kind of cool, but...
He was the best actor, other than
he was, for
Sir
sure.
Alec Guinness, of course.
For sure, but I just wasn't...
Aside from the nerdy stuff, I'm just stoked that they're bringing on a good director, and
right. I just want it to go dark. I want it to be darker. I want it to be more hardcore, I guess.
Right. Well, my understanding is he's going away from a lot of the CGI. He's going back to camera and having that older appearance. So at least we have hope.
There's a new hope. Wow. There's a new pope? What? Right, there is. So
anyway.
Number is 360-977-5483. Give us a call. Or we'll come to your house.
And we'll wave at all the webcam viewers.
Right.
Here's a thing that I saw. There was footage, back to the RabbitHole stuff. There was footage.
Yeah, we gotta go. We're not with Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert here, so.
There was footage of a hotel lobby that showed 2 men that looked like Men in Black.
We have a caller? Yeah. All right.
Oh, we got a caller. Bring him on.
Bring it.
Caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, I'm having a tough time getting this through here.
Hello, caller. You're on KouvRadio, the RabbitHole, John Fogel, James Sweet. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I do hear you.
Okay.
We got the delay on there.
I'm John.
Go ahead.
Who am I speaking to?
This is John.
Who's this?
This is your brother, man.
Oh, is this Kenny?
Yes, man.
Your other brother.
Hey, this is my brother. Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, not a lot, man. I got a hell of an echo for some reason.
Do you have your other radio on still?
Yeah, if you have the radio on, you're going to get an echo.
Oh. Well, hey, man, I just figured I'd call up and try to express my story.
Hey, well, let's hear it, man.
Well, I got one of each. Shit, that's not going to work. Let me get the computer off here.
All right.
I didn't know it would do that.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird deal. I mean, you get this in regular terrestrial radio also when the callers, I don't know if you remember Art Bell, he'd be like, please turn off your radio. He'd get all pissed off at the caller because they still have the radio on.
All right, you guys don't get the echo there?
No, we're good.
No echo on this end.
Wow. All right, well, I just unplugged everything.
All right.
It's just not going to work.
Well, we can hear you really good. I mean, if you can just tell us your story, then because we're not getting an echo and the listeners aren't getting an echo.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I've got one of each, man. I've actually got a UFO story or a Bigfoot that disturb me to this day. And these are, honestly, God, I'm no social butterfly.
Mm.
So it's your choice on either one.
Well, I think I know the UFO one, but the Bigfoot one, that's new to me. So let's start with that one.
That was my vote too.
All right, man. Basically, hunting up there with two buddies. Got up early in the morning before sun came up. Was out relieving myself, and I had about 20 head of deer run by me. So went back to camp there and told them. So we got a game plan. One guy went about 500 yards across the meadow. I waited till I could see real good. Walking down a draw, just kind of sat there for about 30 minutes. I heard a crack. Just basically got down onto my knee, pulled up my rifle, seen movement. And this is just right when I could see the crosshairs of my rifle scope. Noticed that it wasn't a four-legged animal, and this is tough with the echo. Noticed it wasn't a four-legged animal, and I'm scoping it, and I take down my scope, and I stand up, and I'm angry. I'm pissed. I'm like, what kind of an idiot's out here on opening day of hunting,
right,
with no orange?
Yeah.
So, kind of turned my head in disgust. As I'm turning my head in disgust, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, this guy didn't even have a freaking firearm. So I turn back around and look. So then I'm assuming it's maybe somebody in a ghillie suit. This is just weird.
That makes sense.
About 50 yards away from me. And I just continue to watch, and this is about a 20-foot opening. And I just watched him walk across. So like I said, I assumed somebody in a ghillie suit.
Mm-hmm.
So I continued down on my trek, walking down through there, and get down to where the person crossed through the draw, and it was a freaking straight-up cliff.
Okay.
And to this day, there's just zero explanation for it, and it freaks me out for the fact that I walked straight past there. And I'm thinking whatever it was still there. I mean, it honestly looked like maybe something was this is going to sound stupid. It's almost like something had something on its back, like a piggyback ride of something. But there was it was just freaking black, super dark. And I've seen stuff, like I don't even want to say hair, because, to be honest, I didn't even think it was a Bigfoot at the time. I thought it was somebody in a ghillie suit. I spent the rest of that hunting trip trying to figure out who that was, and there was nobody hunting around us within a 10-mile radius. And it wasn't either one of them hunting, but these guys could hardly even walk, and it really does disturb me to this day.
Well, now, can you give us a idea of like the size? I mean, did you have anything to scale the size against?
No, not really, because I was kind of standing up, and it was a down slope, but it was definitely freaking big. I mean, they're not gonna. I was assuming maybe elk coming back down the trail. I just honestly thought that our game plan worked out, where he went down and he spooked them animals back to me. But no, I mean, the whole thing was just weird. I mean, it actually shakes me up freaking talking about it. It's disturbing. It's disturbed me now for years.
Whereabouts was this?
This is up out of Fossil, Oregon.
Oh, that's where Dad used to go hunt too, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
How long ago?
It was wild.
How long ago was that?
I can only associate it when Gore and Bush were in their campaign, just because I argued with the guy I was hunting with up there about their debate the night before hunting.
It was around 2000 then.
Probably.
Okay. Wow, that's a good one, dude. You never told me that. That's pretty good.
No, it was wild. It actually did. It's got me. I'm probably breaking out of freaking hives right now because it freaks me out to this day because there's zero reasoning behind it. And it freaks me out more than anything else is the fact that I walked right by.
Well,
where it went, where I know that it couldn't have went up there. It just couldn't have. It had to still be there. It's like, dang, that's just freaking weird, man. And
did you get any smell? Did you smell anything?
You know, I really didn't get any smell.
Okay.
I didn't even associate. I didn't even consider Bigfoot until years afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even. It's just bizarre.
You know, I think that they have maybe even a gland or something. I think that's a voluntary thing when they you know, you hear them referred to as a skunk ape and this and that sometimes. But I think that's a voluntary, it's a reflexive thing that they do, a territorial thing to, you know, they just emit this odor to get rid of you. And I think, dude, you probably did walk right by it. It probably was right there. And I've said this a million times.
That's what I'm assuming. Well, I was being real careful also to have the wind to my back and whatnot. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a whole lot of smell or odor was going to come up my way.
All right. Now, get to the UFO one, man, because I think you've told me this before, but you wouldn't get into too great a detail, but I know it freaked you the hell out.
It did freak me out, and that one baffles me also. This is basically, you know, you're up there hunting, and same area, probably about 20 miles away. You know, we all sacked out about 10. I had to get up to go to the can again. Got out of the trailer, walked about 30 feet away. Just looking around, doing my thing, and I was like, well, what is that? You know, and I'm seeing these three big, you know, I don't even.
Did they look like stars?
Any kind of a shape. Yeah, man, they look. You know, like when you look up in the sky, and you see that twinkle, twinkle little star, the blues, the red, the green.
Mm.
But they were way low in the horizon.
Mm.
So I'm like, that's just freaking weird. And they just stuck out like sore thumbs. There's three of them, a bit of a triangle shape. I couldn't tell you if it was a solid triangle or not because I didn't even pay attention to that. But did my thing, went back into the trailer, laid down. And at that time, I'm like, what was that? So then I put my glasses on, went back out, looked up again, and said to myself, and I'm saying this stuff out loud, I'm like, this is exactly what I thought it was. It's a freaking UFO. Went back into the trailer, laid down, and went to freaking sleep and didn't wake anyone up or anything, and that baffles me.
Dude, that's more common than you would believe. A lot of people do that. I think it's a defense mechanism that we have in our minds. Either that or sometimes people are affected by, you know, the sightings for whatever reason. Or almost like
I got teased and ripped for the next freaking 10 years over that. No joke.
Yeah.
I mean, I was adamant on it. I know exactly what I seen. I woke up in the morning and said, I seen a freaking UFO last night. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, I remember you were pretty adamant about it. You were like, I know what I saw, and you know, obviously, I've known you a pretty long time, and when you say that, you know, I mean, I believe you totally that you saw something.
I'm not into making up stories, dude.
Right.
I don't know. I had to get. I feel better getting it off my chest, to be honest.
Good. I hope there's other people.
Too many people.
Yeah, I hope there's other people out there listening that you know, because I know this was hard for you to do. And, you know, I appreciate it. It's awesome.
You have no idea. You have no idea.
I know. I think it's great, man. You're going to help other people come out and bring their stories forth.
Which makes sense because, you know, a lot of people are afraid to talk about this. But let's put the secure mind focus that we had Leslie Kane last week. She's a journalist. She deals in facts. UFOs are genuine. There's ample proof out there. There's ample evidence. So, you know, it's just getting over that little thing called fear.
Yeah, and the perception thing.
Right. And once we get past that, more people can talk about it. And, you know, it's awesome that you came on and shared that.
Yeah, man, we appreciate it big time.
It's wild. But I also have to say this, man. What stemmed me to call was the shooting of the woman in D.C. was a tragedy.
Yeah. But
the video I've seen, I'm not real sure what them Secret Service guys were supposed to do. I mean, I didn't see any cars I think a boxer in with. I seen her whipping that thing in reverse. I seen guys jumping out of the way with their firearms. pointed at her. I just don't. I don't really see an option. For all they knew, she had bombs in their car.
Yeah, you make a point there. I mean, we are living in a post 9/11 era, and we see stuff happening. And look what just happened in Washington D.C. just a few weeks ago at that naval yard. So.
Yeah, and I didn't see that footage.
I'm not one to defend this government for much of anything, to be honest with you, but I just didn't see an option. Those cats were doing their job. It's kind of like jump over a barricade at a bank. You're probably going to get shot there too, even if you're carrying a kid. You know, I don't know. But anyway, that actually angered me enough to call.
All right, cool. Hey, bro, man, thanks. It's awesome hearing from you. Keep in touch, and hey, get Tony. Get a hold of Tony. Tell him he needs a call.
You know what, man? Yeah, we've kind of been talking all night. He probably just crashed out, but he'll call, man.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good one to tell. So
yeah, pretty recent, just a few weeks ago.
And that was that a UFO sighting or was that a Bigfoot sighting? I can't remember.
I believe it was a UFO sighting up out of Hefner, which is probably, I don't know, 50 miles or so. That's just an estimate from where I was at.
Right. Yeah.
With my two incidents.
When I was working as a road conductor, I used to go through there all the time on a train. So that's pretty deserty, isn't it?
It's happening a lot more these days.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. You're out there with the Hermiston, all the chemical depots and whatnot. You do see some jet fighters and stuff out there, but
right. Yeah, they used to do practice bombing runs on our trains. I'm not kidding, dude. You'd be sitting there chilling out in your train, and all of a sudden, right over us, they're doing mock bombing runs on us.
Wow.
Yeah, that'll get you. That'll wake you up.
It's a moving target.
Yeah, it's scary. Scary as hell.
Wow.
All right, bro. Thanks for calling, man. Stay in touch.
All right, man.
All right, later.
All right. Take care, guys.
Thanks. Hey, man. Awesome.
That was awesome. You know what I figured out?
Huh.
We need to piss off our callers so they call us.
There you go.
He got so mad that he called in.
Yeah, we'll talk about stories that get evoke emotion.
Well, and that's good that it's interesting to get the different takes on that stuff. Like I said, I haven't seen the videos to I'm just going by what has been going over the airwaves as of late of who's in the wrong, who's in the right. It's the officer's call. We know that. And like I said, I think a lot of it has to do with takes one person to get excited and the others are going to follow suit.
Mm-hmm. Right. Man, I got to tell you, I can't express to you how hard that was for my brother to do. Dude, that was like, that would be the equivalent of someone who's afraid of heights jumping out of an airplane for the first time.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so I mean, it meant that much to him. And
so he's never told anybody?
No. Well, the UFO thing he did. I don't think the Bigfoot. He probably kept that in house, but
wow.
He never even told me. No one, this is my forte. This is my thing. He never said nothing about it.
Well, here's the interesting thing too is that I've known John since 1998. I've never met your brother.
Well, he's Batman. You got to go to the Batcave.
Probably the first time I've heard his voice as well. So
yeah. He sounds like me, doesn't he? Pretty much. I mean,
a little bit.
Pretty similar. Pretty similar
voice. He's got the deep voice, so you've got the good radio voice. So.
Radio.
KouvRadio. That's why I'm the.
And I can tell that you both don't like technology messing up.
No, we don't.
He was like, I'm hanging up. I'm done.
Right. I am not a techno guy. When stuff goes wrong, I get pissed off.
You're like, no,
like
it's fine over here. Just keep going.
I'll break it.
So thank you for bearing through whatever echo was happening on.
Right. I've done radio interviews over the phone as a caller and had that echo, and it drove me crazy. But, you just go through it. What I did is I just talked into the mouthpiece and kept the earpiece away from my ear.
Mm-hmm. Well, I had that happen to me. I called and I spoke to Linda Blair one time on the radio, and it was kind of weird because you're trying to concentrate.
Linda Blair, that's the girl who played Exorcist?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
did you guys talk about pea soup?
No, she called me Jimbo though.
What?
Jimbo. Hey, Jimbo.
That's weird.
It's kind of weird. But anyway.
You ask her if she still practices that crab walk, that upside down creepy crab walk.
So I'm sure she does it on her off time.
You know what? That movie scared the piss out of me.
It's good exercise.
Scared the piss out of a lot of people.
Dude, I was so unprepared for that. I was a little boy watching that.
Right.
Yeah, try sleeping tonight, sucker.
Yeah, I saw it when I was a little kid, too. I called the neighbor buddy of mine. I'm like, I don't like that. I was home by myself.
What?
It was like, what, 6th grade? You know, yeah.
I got to tell you, that is one of my, that's a deep-seated fear, like demonic possession.
It's hard to go to sleep at night with that one.
That scares the bejesus out of me. Because it's beyond your control. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, that scares me 10 times worse than, say, like UFO abduction type stuff.
Well, obviously,
that's beyond your control.
It's pretty...
It is, but you can see it. You know what I mean? And it's like something it's nuts and bolts. You can understand it. It's not ancient, old evil that you can't even see. That scares me. Eternal type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's interesting, too, is, you know, talking about possession, back on the paranormal, ghosty thing, when you watch, like, Ghost Adventures and you see that they're being taken over a little bit, they're saying themselves is that your face is changing.
You can actually see it as a viewer too. You can see that their facial expressions change, and then also.
Oh, sorry.
Whoa.
Hello.
We got a caller.
We got another caller, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Hello. You're on RabbitHole.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
I'm good. This is Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie.
Before.
Excellent. Nice to hear from you.
Hey, yeah. I know the show's almost over, but I was just wondering, what is your guys' take on Area 51?
Area 51. Now that's a tricky one because there's actually 2 facilities there. There's S4, which is in Area 51. But you first, James. Go ahead, and then I'll give you my piece.
Well, like you said, there's 2 areas, and I think S4 is the most hid away of the secrets. Area 51, the main area, I think houses probably a lot more of the stealth fighter technology,
military,
the things that are tested,
conventional technology, if you will.
Maybe some, you know, chemical things. I know that there's been people complaining, you know, the workers complaining about chemical burnings. So there may be a housing for toxic waste there.
Oh, I hadn't heard about that part.
Well, yeah, there is toxic waste there, and they dispose of it, and they're not under any laws. I mean, we're talking stuff that is like absolutely horrible to go in the atmosphere, but there's only one way to get rid of it.
Right.
So that's what they do.
Yeah.
And I know that there's a lot of buildings there that, if you look from the past to today, that have been constructed. There's a lot of newer areas.
Yeah, including a runway that is 5 miles long, Stephanie.
Yeah. I watched a show on it last night. That was Unsolved History, and it was all about Area 51 and how it, you know, got started with all the military stuff, and then the other people saying it's UFOs as well. So I was just curious, you know, what your guys' take on that is.
Well, have you ever heard of a gentleman named Bob Lazar?
Yeah. They were showing he was the one that used to work there, right?
Well, yeah. He says they say no. He says yes, but he actually has a roster, has a name on it. You know what I mean? Which is the next best thing to a pay stub. But he worked at S4, and he supposedly was on a project where he was involved in the reverse engineering of alien technology.
Yeah, the reverse engineering, yeah.
Right, and he proved that to his buddy John Lear, and he's seen it himself. So, yes, I do think that there is a Army or military R&D department that works on reverse engineering. Yes, I do believe that. And yes, I do believe that the other side of things, like what James alluded to earlier, was like conventional aircraft, military aircraft. But I believe that it's also with some of the technology that they've used to, on the reverse engineering and research and development programs that they have. That's why I think that long runway, I think that is for possibly what's called the Aurora aircraft. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but the Aurora, it has some trippy-ass propulsion system on it that this thing can like leave atmosphere, fly around in space, come back into atmosphere. It's capable of like Mach 7, something like that.
Right, and you think about it, even like back with the SR-71 when they did testing on that, with the speeds coming in and out, landing and taking off, you've got to have a substantial amount of runway to bring that thing to a halt.
Right, it's pretty much a it's more or less wingless too. So you know how fast you have to go when you're built like a missile. You're not going to get a whole bunch of lift. right? Aerodynamically speaking,
Right.
you're not going to get a whole lot of drag and lift. So your speeds coming in and going out are going to be incredible because you're just a rock, basically, shaped like a missile.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing that I found out is that the guy that discovered Area 51, the pilot that went over and found it, they will not let him on the base.
What?
He doesn't. I've seen interviews. That is weird. I've seen interviews with him, and he just says he doesn't like get all hocus pocus.
Well, he said he requested, he wanted to come and see it, and he said they denied him access.
Huh.
I mean, the guy who discovered Area 51 is denied access. So that tells me that they still have a strict policy of their top secret clearance.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, it kind of makes sense. You know, if he's not part of it, they can't just let him in without somebody, giving him like a guide around there or something. But
right. And you used to be able to. You used to be able to look. You used to get up on this hill, and you'd be able to overlook the base if you had a really super high power camera. They bought mountains. They bought those mountains. You can't even go there anymore.
Yeah, I heard about that. They're buying up all the space around it.
Yeah.
Did they talk about the McCarran Airport flights that went out every morning for people that are supposed to be going to
Janet flights?
Janet Air?
No, they didn't.
The southernmost airport where the Lear jets sit, the southernmost part of the McCarran Airport in Las Vegas, which is the south end of the strip there, there's flights, and you guys have a name for them?
They're called Janet flights.
Janet flights. There are people that live in Las Vegas or go to Las Vegas and get on these flights, and they fly supposedly to Area 51 to work for the day, and then they come back.
Right. What?
Yeah.
No, I hadn't heard that.
Well, and the people who don't fly, there's a bus. There's a bus that takes them.
Some people don't want it, and those are blacked out windows, so they.
So you don't know who they are.
You know what, though? Here's where I sit on that. I don't think these are like Lazar class people. I think these are people who are contractors working for the government.
Right.
That, you know what I mean? More conventional type stuff, I think.
Right, and I don't think they're
maybe
all
even logistics.
They're all going down and putting on the lab coat and picking out alien eyes or anything like that. But I mean, there's legitimate workers there that some of them might be the cooks for the cafeteria. And we don't know.
Right, and they probably can even talk to each other about what they do there.
My understanding is that they can't.
Top secret. Yeah.
Like they said that if something was going on, if there was like if something was pushed out on the airfield, they would close the curtains. You couldn't look, you couldn't turn. You had, because there's other contractors in there working on their own projects, so they want that secret.
They have to have IT and cafeteria, all that kind of stuff.
Well, these
janitors.
These defense contracts are pretty intense, where they give out these projects to individual like Skunk Works, to the different people that build this stuff, and the first person who does it right gets the funding.
Right.
So they don't want these other companies to find out what they're doing to rip off their idea. So
smart.
That's probably a lot of the reason for the secret. You know.
It's an onion. It's just like we've discussed before, the onion.
And not to mention
layers.
There could be other things that are a little more alien.
Right. Now, Stephanie, if you want to get into a base that is really going to trip you out, do some research. Look up Dulce, D-U-L-C-E, Dulce base. That has got some pretty out-of-this-world theories surrounding it. I think that is way more prevalent, or relevant, rather, to the subject matter we talk about here in the rabbit hole than Area 51 is. Because, let's face it, Area 51 has had a stigma attached to it for decades now. We're probably not, we shouldn't be looking at Area 51. We should be looking for Area 52 now.
I think Area 51 is like the Gene Simmons of underground bases.
Right. Keep it simple, stupid.
Right. Hey, I love Gene Simmons.
I looked up the Dulce, and it says, one of the suggestions was Dulce Air Force Base Alien City.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I mean,
I just looked it up, too.
There was a guy named, Philip Schneider?
Philip Schneider. Now, granted,
that's a good one.
Around 1,400 dumb bases, which are deep underground military bases across the world. So think about that. 1,400 underground cities or housings that the military has constructed. Where's all that money coming from?
Us.
Hey, taxpayer.
Right. Right.
Why is everybody poor in America? You know, why are we you know, in the situation that we're in? There's a lot of money being distributed to these black projects that, you know, it's...
Well, another thing out there that is really interesting is look up these FEMA camps that are popping up all over the place.
And
you know, I mean, they've got high schools, doctors' offices, elementary schools, daycare centers, you name it, just like it. But the only difference is it's surrounded by large electrified fences with concertina wire. Why is that?
Yeah.
You know, why is that? I mean, they're not built to keep things out.
Right.
They're built to keep things in.
Keep it in, yeah.
Yeah. So that
or maybe both.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. I mean, dude, that there freaks me out too.
Zombie apocalypse.
Well, or martial law.
Right.
You know, it's state of emergency, declare martial law. Everybody, you know.
I'm voting zombies.
Right.
So they're building these...
Zombies is cooler.
Zombie.
They're building these quote-unquote camps.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of zombies, I watched that World War Z. I actually thought it was pretty good.
Did you like it?
Yeah, and I wasn't disappointed at the end, so usually I'm like, you know, awesome movie, oh, you just killed it with the end. But this one actually ended good, so I was happy with it.
Yeah. Well, I think they're preparing for the next one, basically.
Right.
It's just the beginning. I mean, I think because of the book.
It's the beginning.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna put that on my to-do list to watch. Definitely.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Thanks for calling.
I couldn't keep you guys any longer.
No, it's okay, Stephanie. We enjoy when you call. You've always got something good to talk about, and you know, the last time you called, I believe you had a sighting. You had a live sighting, and we got the picture, and it turned out really nice and pretty good stuff, man. So we appreciate you calling, Stephanie.
Cool. I like listening to you guys, and we'll see you again next week.
All right, thanks, Stephanie.
Take care, Stephanie.
No problem.
The whole flight thing, I learned about that because there was someone that lived in the battleground area of Clark County here that would spend 6 months in Vegas and work at Roswell. And
work at Roswell or Area 51?
Or at 51, sorry.
Oh, okay.
And he'd spend 6 months down there, and then he'd spend 6 months up here and not work at all.
Who is this?
A guy that I had met through his neighbor.
I'd like to talk to him.
Did he ever discuss what he did there?
Nope, he said he couldn't.
Interesting.
Can he now?
I don't know.
How about now?
We can go knock on his door.
Can he now?
Right. What if I say I'm going to punch you in the face?
Okay. we can go knock on his door, see if he's even still alive.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, that's that would be another good guest to have on. But you know what? He's probably just going to be like, no. Confidentiality laws and stuff. He's
right.
You know, I don't want to put someone on the spot like that either.
He could have been cleaning toilets.
Yeah.
We just don't know.
It's top secret toilets.
He was really secretive about even where he was going, but my friend that lived next door to him over a period of years and stuff, and he'd have to get the mail for him and watch, you know, and see if his wife needed help because his wife wasn't allowed to go down either, and so there was just all this weird stuff, and so he would talk and go, well, what's going on, you know, and so he would get bits and pieces and put the puzzle together. But
see, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with guys keeping the confidentiality because you know what? It is a matter of national security.
Right. There are things you got to keep secret.
Right. You know, and I'm okay with that. I don't think everything going out there is aliens and flying saucers and triangular craft and stuff. I think a lot of it's just conventional stuff. You know, like the stealth technology that was all developed there in the 70s, late 70s. So.
But we have to stop and think, where did all that come from?
Right. Well, yeah. You know, like I said, you go from the Wright brothers to stealth technology in less than
50
a century.
Years. Right.
You know,
less than that. Well, I mean,
like 50, 60 years, yeah.
Late 50s or late 40s was Roswell.
Right.
64.
Well, around
20
the time,
years later,
right around the time
the SR-71.
Right, that Lieutenant Colonel Philip J. Corso discusses in his book, The Day After Roswell. A lot of that technology from the 1947 July crash in Roswell, that stuff just sat in a box for a long time, and out of that, allegedly. Pretty good source, though, ladies and gentlemen, but allegedly the R&D put together the first microchip, night vision, fiber optics.
Supposedly a gal invented night vision.
Right.
And she had a patent.
Stan Friedman really gets angry when people talk about night vision coming from that. But you know what? It doesn't mean that she wasn't dealing with reverse technology from another field,
another source.
Right, and that still could have been the source of the NVGs.
Well, and speaking of back to Bob Lazar, you know, I really love the Bob Lazar story. One of the things that really catches you off guard and makes sense is that, you know, Bob Lazar, as he was seeing these craft, he said they weren't damaged, so I don't find them to be recovered from any crash. So how did they acquire these craft? Was, you know, and then we go back to these treaties or exchanges. So, you know, that makes a lot of sense to those other parts of the story.
Right.
So I don't know.
It does.
I mean, I like Lazar's case. I
do too.
How many guys do you know that could just take a stab in the dark if they were faking it and find out exactly the time and day where you could see the craft do test flights?
Well, and not to mention that the witness was John Lear, and those of you who don't know who that is, his dad invented a Learjet. I mean, this family has so much avionics like notoriety.
Right. Well, I mean
they are the best of the best.
The guy's a rocket scientist.
Right. Literally.
He's a rock surgeon.
Yeah. It doesn't take a rock surgeon. I understood-ified it.
He brainificated.
I had to thinkify. I didn't steal the 2000 election.
Florida was mine.
Right. Thanks, Jeb. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to conclude our show right here. It was an awesome show. We had a good time, and thanks for the callers, Kenny and Stephanie. We need more of that.
Remember, we're going to see an hour earlier next week.
That's right.
So hopefully we'll have more callers.
That's right. So, that being said, as always, your mind is like a parachute. It only works if it's opened. This is the Rabbit Hole, KouvRadio.com.
Peace.
You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland.
It's the question that brought me.
And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
It's the question that brought me.
You stay in Wonderland.